Hello and welcome to the Sky Sports Golf Podcast presented by Callaway. Scottie Scheffler is the champion golfer of the year. We're a long way away from Christmas, but I am joined by three wise men today. Richard Boxall, Rob Lee and Mark Roe. We're all recovering from a long, exhausting week, but my favourite week of the year, and yes, I'm biased when it's in this part of the world, but Boxy, I thought Royal Portrush put on a tremendous show.
Royal Portrush is a great course, but I've got to agree with you, and these lads will agree as well. The Open is fantastic, but the thing about the Portrush course, and I think you two will agree, is that wherever the wind comes from, whatever direction it is, there's always something there. There's always a hazard, or a penalty area, as it's called nowadays, or a bunker. There's always something there, wherever the wind comes from, that you've got to try and avoid.
Yeah,
I think Portrush is the strongest course on the Open Rota. I'm just met Portrush this year. I met her this year. I played 5-6 weeks ago, first time ever.
Yeah.
And then walked, 2 times, twice a day here. Got a long week. But
how was everything at your age?
You've got your step count in this week.
I've got I just racked up 25,000 today. What I will say about Portrush is the brilliance of Portrush are the greens. The green complexes,
Incredible.
they're all different, and they're staggeringly good. Even a simple hole like 5, where the players can drive it there or thereabouts. The green is so brilliant. I rarely saw a birdie there, and it's one of the gimme holes in Portrush. Outstanding golf course. Couldn't believe how good it was. Can't wait to come back.
And what score did you shoot when you played?
I got value for money, my green fee. I did.
How many balls did you lose?
I know I didn't lose any golf balls, but I had to take on the might of Iona Stephen and Di Stewart. I had to play their better ball, and I lost.
Yeah,
and they haven't not let me forget it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
And
can
it
imagine.
will continue
And it will be there forever.
until I get the wrong
And
side
now
of
we
the
know,
grass.
Richard.
What?
And now we know it will continue.
You must.
Yes, it will.
As you
Carry
know the
on forever.
rules.
Yeah.
You know the rules too well.
in the absence with Turnberry no longer on the Open Route, it's the most visually spectacular as well, isn't it, Rui? It's breathtaking.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Like Robert, my first look at it, this week, totally fell in love with it. It's the most undulating course on the Open Rota. It has less bunkers, strangely, than any other course on the Open Rota. But it's just the animation, the views, particularly 5. You mentioned the 5th green, but when you're on that 5th tee and you look down there, it's just stunning.
Yeah.
And everywhere you look is a slightly more beautiful view. You look out down the coast towards Dunluce Castle. Yeah. But I agree with both of the boys about the standard of the golf course. But I also say the greenkeeping and the greenkeepers and the job they did in preparing it. This was the best prepared Open Championship venue I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was beyond belief, and I think, I would come back definitely. Yeah, 100%. I'll make a trip here and come and play here.
Good. Well, that's what we want. We want to showcase this wonderful little country to the world, and I think we did that this week. Also spectacular, also breathtaking was the golf that we saw from undisputably the best player on the planet, Rob. We run out of superlatives for this guy.
Yeah.
What can you say about Scottie Scheffler? Scottie
Scheffler he's just different. He's just driven differently. And I don't think the razzmatazz and the private jets and the money and the fame and all that stuff counts for much with him. I don't think it's not about that for him. He said to people this week or the week before that, winning the stuff, it's great, but there's more important things in my life and his family and his faith and everything else. And I believe him. I think that's how he rolls.
You don't think that's a bit of a deflection?
No, I don't think he needs to deflect.
Do you not?
I don't think he needs to deflect.
It's 1,000,000% the person he is.
Yeah.
He neither gets high, neither gets low, and that's part of his genius. Apart from the game, is super consistent, but mentally, he's just as granite as anybody's been.
Yeah.
I think he's like Tiger was. Between the ears, he's 5 shots better than everybody else.
If you look when he finished,
slightly
yesterday,
different swing, I've got to say.
You look when he finished yesterday. You have Tim Barter, who makes everybody cry.
Yeah.
And Sarah, everybody was trying to get some emotion from him.
Yeah.
And
What's it like to have your family there with you, Scotty?
They tried everything. I mean, Tim can make anybody cry.
Yeah.
Anybody pass away in the last 6 months? Or?
No, but they just
I
couldn't.
stayed here with Tim. He made me cry.
But then that is the strength that will take him to the next major, and I think God, I mean, it's a big shout, isn't it? Because it's quite a long way away. But I think he completes the Grand Slam at the US Open next year, if he's fit and healthy.
But here's the very point, Roy, that I completely agree with you. And obviously it's natural to talk about the US Open next year at Shinnecock Hills. The fact that the final day of the US Open is his 30th birthday. He could complete the career Grand Slam when he turns 30. But everything that he was talking about in that press conference on Tuesday, which I thought was fascinating, was about, you work so hard to become the best player in the world and win these major championships, and the glory, the joy is so fleeting, and then it's suddenly moving on to the next thing. And look, here we are. We're all guilty of it. We're already talking about next year's US Open rather than letting him enjoy this win. And that's what he was talking about. And I think his ability to compartmentalize and separate the golf from the more important things in life in his mind, or what his 15th club is his mentality.
It is, yeah. You would have been sorely tempted just to pop into Portrush as casually holding the claret jug, wouldn't you? And have a little pint of something down there.
Well, he made the mistake in his speech to say that he hadn't been into Portrush. He probably, that in hindsight, he just didn't have to go there. Didn't have to mention it.
Listen, you go to Portrush with a claret jug, you're getting mobbed. And I don't see Scottie as somebody that likes being mobbed. I don't see him. I think he will celebrate. I think the 2-minute thing, that can be taken out of context a little bit. He's going to go home and he's going to celebrate with his close friends at home. Mm-hmm. There'll be the claret jug there. They'll have an evening or whatever. But yeah, he compartmentalizes that and moves on as well as anybody I've ever seen in the game.
Yeah, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and
what do they do?
They are NFL Super Bowl champions.
I'm Reading.
Very good.
I'm Reading FC.
So
Sheffield
watching
United.
the YouTube version of this,
Great
you're
team.
in Philadelphia Eagles colours today.
Correct and right. And AJ Brown is their star receiver. And they got like a 1A and 1B receiver. Devontae Smith is the other. But AJ Brown is his tag is always open. In other words, he'll find a way to get into a space that the quarterback can throw in the ball. But he thought that all the work that he did would lead to the Super Bowl. And when he won the Super Bowl, that would be him on the top of Mount Olympus. And that would be fulfillment. And that would be all his work led to that moment. Yeah. And what he realized was, actually, that lasted 3 seconds. Yeah. The feeling of, I've done it. What his thing was, he realized it's about the journey, the process, the training.
Yeah. Are you still awake?
It's not about it for him. It wasn't about, once I've won a Super Bowl, I think I'm going to feel like, right, I've done it. No, for him, it's about the journey, the camaraderie, everything to get to that point. And I think Scheffler in golf is a little bit like that.
And I think what he said actually resonated with a lot of people. And we've seen it with Rory McIlroy this very year. You know, his entire life's work was to achieve the career Grand Slam. He did it. He climbed his personal Everest. He got there and he thought, I kind of thought it would feel a bit better than this. And then for the next couple of months, Rory struggled for motivation.
I think his struggle was different, though. I think Rory's struggle was because of the amount of time and the huge hiatus between the next major. Once he got it, and the style that the way that he did it was draining for him and for everybody watching. All of us were just. I was absolutely spent watching that final round, like a final round like I've never seen before. I'll never see that again. And I think that emotional high low just wipeout that Rory had, I think it's taken him time to get over that.
His final round was in stark contrast to yesterday's final round boxy, where it was, in Rory's own words, inevitable what was going to happen yesterday.
Yeah.
If you were having to play against Scottie Scheffler in his pomp, just how infuriating it would be as somebody playing alongside, because it just seems he's never going to make a mistake. Okay, he had that little aberration at the 8th yesterday, but apart from that, it was just fairway, green regulation, fairway, green regulation. And it must drive you insane trying to play against him.
Yes, it's something you have to get used to, but I can only relate it to legends, not these two, of who I played against, like, Seve, Greg Norman, Langer.
But Seve was all over the shop. This guy's just...
Yeah, he was, but it was always inevitable with them. When we first joined
I disagree.
The tour, no, that's fine. You'll have your speak in a minute. But
inevitable is Scottie Scheffler. Seve wasn't inevitable. He was fallible.
But in our day, there was.
I think Langer might have been the closest analogy to that because of his distance control. What I see with Scheffler, he's never loses control of his golf ball. He's always landing absolutely flag high. I find that astonishing. But I only thing I would disagree is that I wouldn't have found it intimidating.
No.
I would have actually found it enjoyable.
Interesting, yeah.
And I would have loved to have played alongside him and admired him. I don't think you're intimidated. I think you look at players like that with admiration.
Yeah, somebody who was intimidating for me would have been someone like it was Robert Lee.
No, that was scary.
No,
That's not
That
intimidating.
was just because of his outfit.
Yeah, that's right. No, it was someone like Seve, because I was desperate to get a game with Seve, and I'd never played with him. I went on and won a tournament on the tour, and I thought you could move to Category 5, and I thought I'm going to be drawn with him sooner or later. I'm going to have to play with him. You know, I want to play with him first. So I went at the Open at Troon. I went up and I said to him, I thought, let's get this over and done with. So I went up and I said, Seve, I said, a chance to practice round me. She thought, you're no problem, because he came from Wales. So so he said, yeah, no problem. He said, I'll see you on the tee, let's say 20 past 12. So I thought, right, perfect. So I slid off I went. I'm on the tee at 12:15, waiting like that. Wait, 20 past 12, 25 past 12, 12:30. If it had been anyone else, I'd have just gone, I'm off. Yeah. But I wanted to play with Seve. So I waited 20 minutes on the tee. And he said, sorry, get a sandwich or something like that. So I said, oh, right, okay. And I remember I could see his white shoes that he used to wear. He goes, woof, whips one down into the greenside bunker at Troon. It's sort of hole high on the left-hand side. Yeah. And then he stands next to you, folds your arms like that, and you're standing over it and you're thinking, better get this one down the middle. You know what I mean? But we ended up playing for a tenner, but he lost. Chris Mooney was the other guy that played, but he wanted double.
He lost.
Way, but he lost.
So you took a tenner off Seve?
I took a tenner off Seve.
Did he pay?
He didn't,
Did he pay?
Seve never had money in his
I'm
wallet.
gonna say-
Never had money in his wallet.
Can I just say, it's unbelievable. I asked a question about Scottie Scheffler, and Richard Boxall shoehorned in a story about him beating Seve into that somehow.
Well, he got me back.
Enough about you, Rich.
Hang on a minute, Robert. He got me back on the last 3 holes. He got his money back. But I did take $100 off Greg Norman if you got an hour.
For another podcast. Roy, look, a lot of the fans there yesterday were hoping, I think, when they came in, that we'd see a bit of excitement, a bit of drama, the lead changing hands. They didn't get that, but I mean, I think what they have to take away from yesterday is they were witnessing greatness.
Yes.
And they may be able to tell their grandkids in many years' time. I was there to see the first of Scottie Scheffler's 5 claret jugs, because what we're witnessing is something extremely special here. And the comparisons to Tiger are inevitable.
Yep.
I was chatting to a coach in the range yesterday who was actually saying, and look, Tiger did it for a longer period of time. That is the obvious caveat. But even when he was at his absolute pomp, Tiger never had the supreme control of his golf ball.
No.
This guy does.
Yeah, I think that's the point Rob's making as well about inevitability. That's what makes you think when he gets his lead, when he got that 4-shot lead, you thought, well, where's he going to make a mistake? Try to go through all the holes and the way he plays, where could that mistake come? And you don't see him making a mistake. He did have the one mistake at 8 where he hit the bunker lip, came back down, straight back with a birdie at 9. You know, and
Plus, there wasn't enough breeze, though, Rowie.
no,
yesterday.
I think that's a very valid point.
That.
For anybody to have caught him on that golf course over the weekend, it needed a bit of wind. And we all wanted to see a really sort of a gusty 2025, even more wind. Of course, then the golf course also plays a completely different way. But no, you're absolutely right. The comparisons with Tiger are right and correct. You know, and I think the crowds here, the most knowledgeable crowds, I think, in the world, that come to the Open Championship, you know, it was said in the prize presentation, but they don't mind watching him cruise away. Because as you say, what they're looking at, they're thinking, this guy is truly one of the greats, will be one of the greats, will hang up his spikes. Well, it's an interesting thing when you listen to his press conference, when he might hang up his spikes, because you do get the feeling with him at some point, you know, that he's going to say, I'm going to take a break, you know, almost from that press conference.
I think that
100% because of his values, because of the way he sees life, what he sees is important, which Rob mentioned. But the fans here would have loved that. I don't think. Yes, we all want drama, of course. Well, Gotterup got within 4 at one point, didn't he?
Everyone started getting excited then. They thought, there's only 4 in it
well,
now.
we were all jumping up and down saying, oh, it's possible. And then all of a sudden, birdie, and Scheffler's off away again. And it was dominance.
It might be one of those things, Boxy, where he's maybe not sort of appreciated until the latter years of his career, just because of his dominance and his brilliance. I liken it a little bit to Roger Federer in that he doesn't have that much charisma or personality on the face. He actually says some really interesting things, as we discussed on Tuesday. That press conference was fascinating, but he hasn't got the charisma of a Seve or Tiger. He is just very sort of just goes about his business.
He's
in a
more
very-
a la Ben Hogan, isn't he?
Right,
if you think
exactly.
about it,
Yeah,
you
I've
think
heard
about how
that
dominant
as well.
Hogan was. But Hogan wasn't a media darling, was he at all?
No.
And in all honesty, he was the Iceman, wasn't he? I don't see Scheffler as an Iceman at all, when he's picking up his little boy Bennett and putting him down there. I mean, I enjoy those scenes, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's lovely.
right.
I think the family aspect and sharing it with the family is great, but you might be right. Maybe he is more appreciated.
It did
Years on.
became pretty obvious early on, I thought, probably third of the way around, halfway around the second round, that Scottie Scheffler, the way, you could just see him just casually moving on. You started thinking to yourself, anybody who gets past him wins.
Did you win any
said
money
that on
off
Thursday-
Scottie
on
Scheffler,
Thursday.
Boxall?
Did you?
Anyone that beats Scheffler
Is the
gonna
winner.
Wins this.
Yeah.
wins this
You think
tournament.
Richard took any money off Scottie at any point?
Hang on, let me have a think about that.
Not in this lifetime.
No, I don't think I did.
No, that's
It was
good.
close.
But I was saying
Never met
yesterday
him, actually.
in the broadcast, I was saying this. Don't get excited, folks. This is over.
Yeah.
We're going to watch the race for second here because the tournament is over.
It was
Over. It was over
yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
Over. And now we wouldn't even say that about Woods. It was over. Tiger was an amazing player, but he never felt that it was inevitable. I never felt it was inevitable.
Well, maybe
No, but if you watch
Because-
Tiger,
because-
2000 US Open.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shots,
yeah, Tiger had the freaky, had a couple
Yeah.
of freaky events. Of course he did. But the Scheffler inevitability, because he never puts his ball in the position that Tiger would put his ball, and going around. Sometimes Tiger could take a rogue double.
And it's the
Yeah.
emotions as well. There's the highs and lows that you got from Tiger. It's just that constant
Listen,
stony
I
face.
don't think we'll ever see the entire package like Tiger again. I don't think we'll ever see it. With the fist pump, and you could see how into it.
oh,
he
you're
was.
including the emotion, you mean? and all that
Everything.
in the
The
package.
whole Tiger package, when he was in full flow, was spellbinding, and the world
Yeah.
could not watch. Scottie's he's a cold cat, man. He just goes around there. He's turning up to do his job, and his job this week is to beat the field. And he goes away, quiet time with the family, and you'll see him the next time doing exactly the same thing.
Do you know, I think there's another aspect to his game as well, and Wayne Riley said it in commentary. He said he is the best player out of the rough I've ever seen. Now, he doesn't go in the rough that often,
No.
but when Wayne, who's walked a million miles on the golf course with every great player, says he's the best I've ever seen out of the rough. So now we're thinking, well, hang on a minute, even if he does knock it offline, we've got a guy who somebody is saying, and a lot of people acknowledge, is the best player in the world out of the rough as well.
terrifyingly.
Because of the angle of his swing,
Yeah.
because of the angle of
Terrifying. He's
attack.
learned how to putt
And
as
his
well.
short game's good.
Well,
His
his
short game's good.
fabulous,
Yeah.
What was it? He only hit 3 fairways the first day. Three out.
He's that right.
He only hit 3 fairways,
Yeah.
Scheffler, and still knocked it round in, what was it, 68, I think, first round? 3 under?
And that came late. He
Yeah.
doing nothing, and then
Yeah.
and he just stayed in it. He just stayed in it, and he got his little bit of gravy at the end of his round.
The obvious question people will have now is, and it's an impossible question to answer, obviously, is how many can he
for
rack
us.
up?
Not for the
Not
three
for
of
the
us.
three wise men. But look, we saw, since Tiger, we've seen, Rory burst on the scene and win 4 majors in a very quick stretch. Jordan Spieth burst on the scene, win 3 majors in a very
quick,
quick. Brooks Koepka win 4 majors in a very quick stretch. Now Rory has maintained that excellence, hasn't obviously racked up the number of majors that he maybe should have, but both Jordan Spieth and Brooks Koepka burned bright, but burned out a little bit fast. They're both tremendous players, don't get me wrong, but they didn't carry on that dominance. It feels different with this guy. It feels as if he is going to just keep on knocking off 1 major a year, a couple of majors a year,
but I think
for
Rob's
the next however long.
Rob's right what he says. If you look at Rory, you always think of Rory. He's a fantastic player, and I love watching him play more than any other player, to be perfectly honest. But there is the occasional, oh my god,
Yeah.
but let's have that double bogey. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And you think, it really takes the wind out your sails. But with him, he doesn't. Okay, he doubled the 8th yesterday. That's just a bit of greed out of that bunker. Do you know what I mean? He was just going.
Yeah, of course. He obviously felt that he could play that shot.
But every other golfer has the possible chance, it seems to me, of a 7 or a 6.
does.
Or,
yeah, everybody you mention, everybody you can you can be a little bit nitpicky, can't you, with great players? But Rory drives the ball better than anybody in the game, length and accuracy combined. Yeah, at times his wedge plays indifferent, and we say he's a streaky putter. Jordan Spieth won his majors quickly, but he's not a great ball striker. No. His iron play is not brilliant at times. His driving's not brilliant at times. So you can kind of look at all the players and say, yeah, they had a run at that, and then there is something that they can improve. Be honest, tell me what Scottie Scheffler can improve.
Well, look, the thing that he does is, right, and it's been noted, what Monty used to do a lot and was famed for, but Scheffler, Monty with power, gets it hole high So many times
That's
he's
the
been
point.
high.
Yeah.
And you can only do that if you're hitting it right out the middle of the club.
Absolutely.
Every single time. There's no rogue strikes left or right or centre. It's got to come right out the middle so you know exactly how far that's going to go. So you can do the math and work out exactly what you need to do to get it hole high.
That's
and
the
he
sign
does
of-
it all the
that's the
time.
sign
You
you
put
play
every
well.
approach to 10, 15 feet, then you're going to give
And
yourself a chance
that
in
was
every
the thing.
hole.
You watched him the whole week, and that enabled him also, like yesterday, first hole, he's just in the semi, but he knows there's a little ridge to the right of the hole. And he plays it that way, runs down.
Now, here's a question I
Right,
want
and
to ask you.
and the fourth the same. You know, he knows that the slope of the green is quite severe from the right side. He lands that ball exactly at the spot, flag high, where it just tumbles down.
Do you
It's
think
almost
he
uncanny.
really...
It's almost uncanny, Richard.
Let him
Go on.
finish, Richard. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Carry on.
Do you honestly think he plays... I'll pitch it up the top half of that. Then.
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he said that. He
I
said
think
that.
he was just
He
aiming
said
for
that at
the
the
flag
Sky
and it
Car.
drifted a little bit right and came
When he's
down the
describing,
slope.
he said, no, he said, I knew there was the bank right there.
He's
He
playing
said, so-
snooker.
he's
Playing snooker with the course.
He's playing. It's a game of chess.
But he
Yeah.
did
It's a game of
say,
chess.
he did say in his interview yesterday with Tim at the Sky Kart, he did say to me, here we are, I started off with the first, Tim pressed the button on the first hole, it came out, he went, yeah. He said, yeah, you need lucky breaks if you're going to win. He said, no, I was just lucky enough to use that slope and it came down.
Oh, I think he's being
He downplays everything. He downplays every single thing.
He doesn't want to talk about himself sometimes.
No,
does
he
Have you
just says,
noticed that?
hold a couple of putts. And,
You know, in an
okay,
interview,
yeah,
you actually
62.
you struggle to get him to talk about himself, and that's amazing.
Let's get it on record then. This podcast will go down to posterity. People will look back in years to come. How many does he rack up?
It depends whether he just said, you know what,
Just
hang on.
Or fitness,
injury,
Depends on so many things.
longevity.
Correct.
That's the fun of it,
I'll
Rob.
go
understand.
for...
I'm asking to pluck a number out of the ether.
Well, I'm trying to help Richard. This
I'll
number.
go for 12.
I'll go more than that.
Ooh,
I'm
Big
going to
shout.
go 16.
oh
That's
wow!
what I was going to
Overtakes
say to start with,
Tiger.
but I have a feeling he'll take some time out. I think he'll just go, do you know what, I've had enough of this.
Roy?
No, I go 10. I mean, 10 is a fantastic
I
number.
think 10 as well. 10
Do you know
is my
what?
number.
Maybe he never wins another major. Who
But
knows?
That's the thing. That's the
Who
thing. you know?
knows?
I think he wins at Shinnecock.
You think he completes the Grand
I
Slam?
don't
on the
see anyone in the
35th?
game right now with all the brilliant players that there are. I don't see anyone in the game. He's going to have to beat himself.
Right, that's the thing.
You know what I
The
mean?
gap is now big.
The gap is that big
Yeah.
between the best of the rest and him, including Rory. And Rory must look at Scottie and think, because that's the way Rory wants to play. He wants to drive it into the fairway, hit it pin high, be relentless. That's what Rory wants to do.
What do you two? You two are swing gurus. What do you think of his swing?
I'll tell you something about his swing. And you mentioned it about the rough.
Yeah.
Because Scottie's a big, tall guy, and he swings it very high hands. He can get his angle of attack is not like a shorter, rounder person coming in like that. His club's coming more into the back of the ball from a higher point. It's easier for him to gouge out the rough than it would be for a shorter person, without a doubt. And he can just beat down on top of that thing, and it comes out. And he gets a little bit of control in it. Doesn't seem to come out squealing like a wounded duck. It finds its way onto the green.
I had a few of those.
You know, indeed, in more than one way,
Very
Richard.
very
In more
nice
than
of you
one
to call
way.
me a swing guru. I'm more short game
You
guru,
are
but I also
yeah.
admire that part of the game
But
as
you
well.
did say guru, did you?
It's beautiful. Well, he said guru. He said guru. Anyway,
Self-proclaimed
but
guru.
what I was going to say is what I love about his pitching. When you see him pitch, he's got a soft flight.
Yeah.
You know, when you see that soft flight when he's pitching it,
Yeah, you know, he does, Rory.
because of the levers.
He does.
He hits it like a soft cut, and that's how DJ changed his game when he went to Butch Harmon with all
Tiger
the
did.
pound and Tiger too. Is you don't want a pitch shot to be going that way. You want a pitch shot to be for control of distance. You want it to be soft, and if you can bring that back to even shorter shots. It's not that you are going to fade them or hit them, but that feeling that you have of hitting them that way, he has that, and I see that. His pitching and chipping is sublime. It really
They
is.
sort of float, don't they? Remember Paul Weir was great at that. I mean, Paul Weir could play out of thickish grass and it would still float like that. Where I'm coming out is woof. You know what I mean? Woof, get down, hit the pin. Grow grass. You know the one I mean.
No, but you're right, Roy, about that. That he sees the whole game that way.
Yes.
So
Yes.
even with the driver, he can hit it hard, and he pretty
Squeezes
well knows down the left side. It'll move gently in towards the middle of the fairway.
Yeah.
It from a pure ball striking exhibition. It's very impressive. It's very
It is.
impressive.
Look, it's
But,
spectacular
you
to
know,
watch.
it's not we're talking about, but it's not a pretty golf swing, is it? Let's
No,
be
it
honest
isn't
with you.
pretty.
It's
That's
not
what I
a
was trying
pretty
to say to
action.
you two.
It isn't, but it just works. And the
Yeah.
key to golf is, and for everybody that's listening to this, it's not about it being pretty. It's about it working under pressure. It's about it functioning.
Yeah. Monty's wasn't pretty, was it?
No, not at all. But Monty's not pretty. Anyway, but as you
he's
say,
very pretty.
how much did you admire him? But ask Monty to hit a draw. That's the funny bit.
Yeah.
He played his whole career with that fade.
But
didn't
Scotty
he?
can hit the draw if he needs to hit it.
There you go.
He's got
So
every shot
that
of
makes
it.
him
He's
complete.
not nailed to the left to right. He can hit the draw at will when he needs to hit it.
Yeah, look, it's
Complete.
been a clinic. It's been a masterclass these last 4
Yeah.
days at Royal Portrush. Let's hear now from the champion golfer of the year.
Congratulations, Scotty. Easy question to go back to that quote earlier this week about it's going to be awesome for 2 minutes to win the Open. Obviously, your name appears now alongside some of the great names of this sport. Is it going to be longer than 2 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I think we live now in a day and age of where, clickbait is kind of what people look for, and you can shorten a 5-minute clip into, 3 words. I think really underestimates what I was trying to communicate. Maybe I didn't do as effective of a job of what I would have hoped to in communicating that, but, at the end of the day, I have a tremendous amount of gratitude towards moments like these. I've literally worked my entire life to become somewhat good at this game, to be able to play this game for a living, and it's one of the great joys of my life being able to compete out here, and to be able to win the Open Championship here at Portrush is a feeling that's really hard to describe. If somebody's going to listen to the comments I had this week, I would encourage them to listen to all of it, and hopefully I did a good job of communicating that, yeah, this is amazing to win the Open Championship, but at the end of the day, having success in life, whether it be in golf or work or whatever it is, that's not what fulfills the deepest desires of your heart. Am I grateful for it? Do I enjoy it? Oh my gosh, yeah, this is a cool feeling. I can't wait to get home and celebrate this championship, with the people that have kind of helped me along the way. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fulfill the deepest desires of my heart. And but it's just tough to describe when you haven't lived it. Something I actually talked to Shane about this week was, just because you win a golf tournament or accomplish something, it doesn't make you happy. It doesn't. Maybe for a few moments, maybe for a few days, but at the end of the day, there's more to life than playing golf. But I'm pretty excited to go home and celebrate this one.
All right, guys, let's get into Rory. We all know what happened 6 years ago at Royal Portrush, and he at least has put those demons to bed. He was stronger for that experience, embraced the fans a bit more this time around, and I think he can leave with his head held high at top 7 finish. But Rory, it's very hard to win an Open Championship from the rough, and Rory's superpowers is driving, and it just deserted him this week, unfortunately.
Given what happened in 2019, I thought he would be nervous here this week. I thought there would be, there were ghosts to lay to rest, as you say. And I think he did that well.
Yeah.
I thought he would be probably more nervous the second day being cut there. Once he was through that and he was at 3 under, I was actually saying if he gets to 4 under, he's still got a great chance to win the Open Championship. Then obviously we saw how well Scottie was playing. But I think it was a fabulous Open for him. I think it was a celebration, an opportunity to come home and for everybody to applaud and appreciate the Grand Slam. And I think he was emotional coming down the 18th because of the support, because of the level of support, which is justified. He's a hero. He's a golfing hero. And it's not the result he wanted, but it was good. It was a great week. And to see him there all 4 days and to have him, as you say, in the top 10. And there were moments of magic like the Eagle Putt 12 where probably the loudest roar I've ever heard.
That Saturday in particular, the sun beating down and the roars reverberating around the course, Rob, was special.
Yeah, it was. I was out with Scheffler and Matt Fitzpatrick on the Saturday, and Rory was thereabouts. Yeah, I heard that roar from miles away. And again, I was with Rory yesterday. I'm walking down the last hole with him, and I knew once he was walking with Matt Fitz again, and once they get to where the grandstand starts, applause. But once they get to that point, then it really ramps up. Yeah. It was so loud yesterday when he finished that on that 18th green.
Did you feel like sneaking in behind him, 20 yards behind, just having the feeling of a bit of a wave as you went down? I've only done it again.
Do you know? And at the end, because the funny thing is, Rory took his hat off and he was acknowledged in the crowd, and they were giving their boy his just desserts. But Matt Fitz was just. He just sort of walked to his ball on the side, the green, the right. It was extraordinary. Yeah. The difference look, everyone's different. We're all built differently, but to see those two men in how they interact with the crowd was was quite stark actually.
I also thought it was good the way Rory on the 18th said, "I'll mark."
Yeah,
You know, he was close. He was tapping in distance, but he just thought it's going to be pandemonium here, and that's going to leave Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, and it was an important part.
It was good.
For
Yeah, it was.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, it was.
And I saw that, Rob. But I know Fitzy, and I think the glory was Rory. We know that
he's just different.
He's different.
Yeah,
but we know the glory was Rory. So at the end of the day, I think to step aside, I would do the same. I would have wanted to be 80 yards behind and just let that happen, you know.
Yeah.
And he was unfortunately sort of to the side. He moved to the side. I thought he handled that really well.
I'll tell you what.
Once just to close off on that one. Once Rory had shaken Fitz's hand and they both were making their way towards a kind of tunnel through the grandstand, Rory stopped and everybody stood up.
Yeah.
He then got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
From,
It was lovely. I was there for
oh,
that
it was
as well.
amazing. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
I got proper goosebumps during that. And going back to our early point about, you know, Rory struggling to find his raison d'etre, his motivation after the Masters, I think being back this side of the pond and just feeling that weight of love from his home fans will do him the world of good.
Oh,
going
most
forward.
definitely.
Sure.
I've never felt anything like it. The bit that I was impressed with more than anything else was day one, was the first hole. Now, you know, that first hole, you got out of bounds right, out of bounds left. Yeah. Okay, it's 72 yards from one to the other, but trust me as a golfer, it doesn't feel like 72 yards. It feels like 2 yards. And if that's the 12th or the 13th, you can cope with that so much better.
You're already into the rhythm of your
But
round.
him snap hooking it out of bounds 6 years ago and then gets on that tee, I bet he was needing to go
Yes.
to the laundrette after that. I should imagine.
And he did hit it left, by the way.
And he did hit it left, yeah.
Get it going
quite
left.
as
But
far
I
as
reckon,
But it's
I would say he was
no.
really panicked, really wanted
I
his
think that
mummy
was
at
a
that
thing.
point.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
that would have been a thing for a long time.
Oh, building up to it.
I'm going to have to get past that first tee shot, and then all of a sudden, oh God, I'm here. And I think once
he
that
did-
was
he
once
did
that
look
was done, he
nervous.
was
To
off.
use a football analogy, Rob, we talk about, you know, strikers who thrive on confidence, you know. I think Rory is a golfer who thrives on confidence.
Definitely.
And I think the emotional fillip he'll get from this week will push him on to great things.
I think also he's probably realised that the Masters is now yesterday's news.
Right.
And for those great players like Rory, it's all about the next event, the next major, the next what, the next this. It's all about that. And I think he'll be ready by the time we get round to next spring to have another crack.
We've got 9 months to wait, haven't we now?
I know, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
He did say, didn't he? He did say.
Well, we've got a little event in New York.
Yeah,
in
he did.
September
He did
before,
say.
Yeah.
He did say
yes.
I'm only interested in 2 events now, but for the rest of the year. He said the Open Championship of Portrush and the Ryder Cup. He did actually say
Right.
that. He said those are the only 2 events I'm really interested in.
Matt Fitz, by the way, is making a little run. He's
Yeah,
making
he
a little
is.
run now.
He
Good
is.
We'll get
Scottish.
on to Fitz. Yeah,
Good Scottish,
yeah,
good Open.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's
And
making a little
it's
run,
good.
and I think
Form
he's
is temporary, class is
I
permanent.
think,
It's
I
good
think
to-
he's got Ryder Cup in his
But
mind. Yeah.
if you look at the actual Ryder Cup list, I look at it this morning, and it's actually the first 12 are pretty excellent.
I think.
Do you know what
Fitz,
I mean?
I think
I know,
Fitz-
I know he's got 6 picks.
Fitz is
but
13.
I
I
understand
think
that.
he looks good.
Fitz is 13. He's
Yeah.
around about.
Yeah, he's 13.
12. He's 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can easily, with 6 picks, you can go.
Yeah, you can-
go
yeah,
down.
you know-
They
you're
went
not-
to 39th one year. Tony Jackley went to 39th to pick
Did he?
Christy O'Connor for
Well, he
the Ryder
bypassed
Cup.
me then.
We got more strength though in depth now.
Oh,
Yeah, we
I'm
don't really-
just-
Jacqueline
I'm just saying.
bypassed me and went to somebody who was 39th.
Who'd have thought?
Just to,
dare you?
just to close the chapter on Rory, how do you think he feels about the gulf that has opened up between himself and Scottie Scheffler?
It's a good
now?
question. I think he's very conscious of it.
Yeah.
I think I mean Rory from a lot of us, most of us, on his day, best player in the world. If they're all on the day, John Rahm, everybody else,
Yeah.
he's the best player in the world.
I'm not buying this golf. I'm not.
So I'm now saying
I'm not buying it. No.
On their day-
yes. Go on.
Scottie Scheffler's best player in the world.
Do you know what? I would add a caveat to that. Sorry. Do you think if Rory came this week and had because we talked about his driving not being great,
Yeah.
and played his absolute A game and drove it the best he could, he shot 61 round there when he was 16. I don't buy that. I think if Rory had come and played as good as he can play, I think he wins.
Well, no
think-
one.
Yeah. I think
Here's
he
the point.
wins.
Okay.
Rory,
I'm
Would
not-
you have said
I'm
at the
just
start
saying
of the
the
week,
best
if
he
you
can
finish
play.
in front of Rory, you win? Or would you say, if you finish in front of Scheffler, you win?
Yeah, but that's on a
I
consistency.
think at the start of the week, I think
on a
that's pretty
consistency
even.
level,
That's
isn't
I
it?
think that's 50-50 either way. That.
Yeah, and it's on a consistency level.
Yeah.
as
you
well.
have you get Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler together. They play 10 matches against each other, 10 different courses. Who wins the majority of the matches?
Cool, that's a good one, isn't it?
Sorry, you say that again.
You're very good at this.
I
like
like
that.
it, Rory versus Scottie.
Yeah.
10 matches, 10 different courses, different elements,
Stroke play or
different
match
conditions. Match play.
See, that was good. I like the way you did that.
Who wins? Who wins the majority?
I'm
of the
going
matches?
to counter that. If they played 100 matches,
Okay,
who would
100.
win?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say if they played them in match play, I'd say Rory would win.
If they play 100
But if
matches,
they played it in
can't
stroke
anything
play, I'd
else.
say Scheffler would win.
And I know exactly what you mean by
Yeah,
that
because of the odd
Rory's,
lad-
Rory's
yes.
mistakes are double bogeys and triple
Rory's
bogeys.
7. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's just one lost hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're brilliant. I love that.
Listen,
Thanks.
Rory McIlroy is the player I look forward to watching the most.
Yes.
Beyond
Yeah. Oh,
doubt,
yeah.
without doubt,
Yeah.
no one near him. And when Rory's playing, and I watch a lot of golf, as we all do, and when Rory's playing, the TV's on.
Yeah.
He's a
I'm watching
needle
him.
pusher,
I think,
isn't he?
I think I can have Bryson.
I
to
love
that.
watching
And
Rory
I'll give
McIlroy.
you a reason. I can
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Bryson DeChambeau
Yeah,
to
he's-
that as
yeah.
well. 7 over the first day, and then the next 3 days here, second lowest score for 3 rounds ever in Open Championship history when you tally up the second, third, and fourth rounds. I watched that second round, every shot of it, where he shot
See, that's
65.
like he played
to
a
make
live
the cut.
event.
Yeah, no.
You know, he went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He was back to
listen,
live.
He just thought of Thursday as the warm-up, right?
you-
Right?
you-
I
say
knew where
that.
you'd go with that. You're not used to playing a final round,
That's
a
very
fourth
good,
round. I
Robert.
get
Well
that.
done. That was good.
But I would add him to that. I do like watching DeChambeau. I think
Yeah, no,
he brings
if he
he
shot
brings something
71 or
different.
72, if
Yeah.
it's all ifs and
Well,
buts.
correct.
But I tell you what, it would have been quite a close event then between the two of them, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But he always plays poorly first rounds. Bryson in the
Yeah.
majors.
Well, look, as I said, I think Rory can probably leave Royal Portrush with his head held high. Let's hear what he had to say after his 4 days back in Northern Ireland.
A magical major season comes to the end with a 69 here, leaves Rory McIlroy 10 under par. So many special moments in 2025, but that walk-up 18, family, friends, the adoring fans watching them, just what did that moment mean?
Yeah, it did. It meant a lot. I've had an unbelievable week here. You know, just the support. It means the world to me, and to be, to be coming back home with the season that I've had and the success that I've had. I really wanted to try to enjoy this week as much as I could, and I did for as much as I could, apart from being more in contention today to try to get the win. But absolutely incredible week. The reception I got on 18 there today and every day, that'll stay with me for a long time.
You look quite emotional. Do you sometimes have to? Has it been hard this week sometimes to kind of keep it in check, given what this week means?
Yeah. Yes and no. I feel like I've done a good job of just really trying to keep my mind on the task at hand. But yeah, I mean, I did allow myself a moment walking up the last there to try to soak it all in. And I said this last time, but this place, these people mean so much to me, and for that to feel reciprocated, that means a lot. So no, it's been an incredible week. I wish I could have been a little bit closer going into today and maybe given it a bit more of a run, but I'm pretty happy with the week's work, and hats off to Scottie. He's been on a different level this week, a different level for most of the past couple of years, and he's a very deserving champion.
Yeah, those are the thoughts of Rory. Let's work our way down the leaderboard now. Runner-up finish for Harris English, Roe. He's just a very elegant golfer to watch, and that's his place, I think, so
Great last round.
Team. Yeah.
Secures his place in the Ryder Cup team. Wonderful. He has had a little bit of a spell where he wasn't on best form. The season and a half where he lost his game. Back now to his very, very best. And elegant. That's a great way to describe his
beautiful
game.
swing, isn't it?
Yeah,
And he
super.
just seems to
Super
do everything
controlled.
quite
And,
well.
and again, that sort of very sort of calm temperament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching him.
Third place, Chris Gotterup. What a fortnight. His back manager will be very happy.
Well, he will. Do you know, on the Wednesday when he came off the 18th green, our people said, go and hoover up some interviews,
Yeah.
So go and pester players and see if you can catch someone. Well, Chris Gotterup came down there, and Brendan de Jong knows him. So he said, Chris, can you come on the radio for a second? And he said, sure. And he came across, and easy Ozzy, wasn't in a rush to get away, spent 15 minutes with us
Yeah.
Oh, really?
on the Wednesday.
Very
Really lovely. Obviously reflecting on how his life had changed after going toe-to-toe with Rory in Scotland and winning. And now my world has opened, and I'm here at Royal Portrush, and I haven't really come to terms with what happened last week, and who knows, I'll try and play well this week and see how we go. But he did play very well again.
I mean, that is a hard thing
25
to have a huge life-changing win like that when you have gone toe-to-toe with an icon of the game like Rory and beaten him. And then just a few days later, you pitch up to your first ever Open Championship and rack up a top 3 finish.
Well, it was impressive. As like you say, the bank manager will be extremely happy with that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was another one that, a little bit like Harris English. Nobody was really doing anything on the last day. And they all sort of last third of their round made a few birdies, and that's where they clambered up the leaderboard.
We were standing on the first tee when he started his round yesterday, Chris Gotterup, and he hit this stinger off the first tee, which mustn't have apexed at about sort of 20 feet. And I thought he actually sort of has a game tailor-made for links golf.
Yeah, he does. Driving the ball flat is not a problem for him. Yeah. And listen, when people play well and score well, you think, "Oh, good player." Yeah. But he actually does look like a really good player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few players in a tie for 4th: Wyndham Clark, Matt Fitzpatrick, Haotong Li. Just briefly on Haotong, that's tough playing in the final group of a major. And people might have expected, I don't know, him to just sort of fall away, but he clung around.
No, he clung on really well. He's a multiple winner
and he's great to watch
on the tour. And I was interested to watch how he was going to play, because he does you don't need commentators when he's around, because he hits a shot and then commentates on every single shot. It's going right, sit, or it's over why did it go here? Why did it go there? We pushed it. That's why it went there. But he gets a running commentary, and I thought, is he going to carry that on? In the situation that he is. It's all right to do that in a DP World Tour event, but these are totally different. Totally different feeling. And he did do that. He carried on exactly the same. And I was well impressed with him finishing 4th, to be honest.
I actually thought that Haotong could give Scottie a scare in that final round.
Me too.
Did you?
Because a lot of guys play golf, and when they get in a position where they could win, they play trying not to lose golf. Haotong plays trying to win golf, and he goes at it all the time, and he goes and goes, and he goes at it. And I thought, you can get through the first 5 holes 3 under par, and then you got the 7th to come. And if Scottie's been doing nothing, just hasn't holed a 10-footer or something, I actually could have seen Haotong Li give Scottie a scare on that front 9. Yeah. So he was right up there for me. I thought, of all the guys there, if it's not Rory, because obviously Rory in the last group with the crowd, that could have made a big difference.
Yeah.
I'd have put Haotong into bat.
I think
he plays to win.
His tee shot off the 7th, he thrashed that drive off the 17th yesterday, and the recoil afterwards.
He plays golf a little bit like Arnold Palmer, doesn't he, in a way? It's all gung-ho. But the smile was just fabulous, and I think he will have endeared himself to millions
massively,
of people.
And he's booked his place at Royal Birkdale next year, so that it's a win for him this week. Matt Fitzpatrick as well. I think so many of us so pleased to see some green shoots of recovery for Fitz. Not a great start to the year. The players, I think, was the real sort of nadir where he thought, right, I need to change things. Got a new coach in, and since then it's been steady improvement. Do you know what? He missed some tiddlers this week as well. He could have been 4 or 5 shots better off, but a really great week from him.
I think, good signs for Matt Fitzpatrick. He, again, has got a game that's suited to links golf.
Yeah, it's very flat,
he can hit a flat sliding cut, and it's lovely to watch. And he hit some really nice shots. And I agree, if he'd have had a top week with a putter, maybe he doesn't catch Scheffler, but he would have secured 2nd spot on his own. Everyone's got their story, of course.
He's been trending, hasn't he?
He has.
He'll be desperate. Tour. His game's getting better. I think he's not at your spot on. I think he's just missing a brilliant week on the greens. He's just not quite there with the putting. That's all. Everything else is great.
He'll be desperate to get to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
and improve on his terrible Ryder Cup record, which he's aware of.
He is aware of it.
It's 1 point he's got, I think, in 8 matches.
Yeah, playing alongside Rory right at that point.
So he'll be desperate to get to that Ryder Cup
and
fix that.
I
back him to do it.
Oh, I think definitely do.
The caddy change takes a while. Going from 6.5 years with Billy, that ended not in the best way, I guess. And then Dan Parrott coming in, he's had to get used to Dan. Dan has to get used to him. I think now that kind of relationship, they're kind of bonded, and I think now they're enjoying each other. That helps a lot as well.
And those are, Luke and Dodo will be delighted to see that, because it's very hard to throw a rookie into what is going to be a bear pit of an atmosphere at Bethpage. He wants proven players, major champions 100%. Like Matt Fitzpatrick to be there.
If anyone looks like they're not bothered by anything that's going around them, it's Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
If you want a stoic, I'm not bothered, you can't get through my armour type of guy. And if they got I would have said you, Richard.
Yes.
I would have said you, but as you're not currently able to play in this Ryder Cup,
Yeah.
I'm
You'll have to push me to one side.
Looking
Okay.
past you.
It's fair enough.
Matt Fitzpatrick would be that guy. He's almost like the prototype photo fit player that you would put if you could show the crowd that you weren't bothered by what they were doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Matt Fitzpatrick is your
I
cat.
would,
Yeah,
I
can
would
I ask
say-
you a question?
I would say he's a pick already if he stays.
Yeah, I would
anyway.
say so,
But I
yeah,
think
I
he
agree.
can even drop down that as long as he continues
Yeah.
to play the way he's playing now and just feature.
Can I
I'd
ask
say he's
you a
lot.
question?
And
You can, Richard.
quickly, just to top off,
Jamie, can Richard ask a question?
in the
Thanks,
Ryder
Shane, I
Cup,
admit
when Matt
We'll come to you.
Fitzpatrick lies down prone, has a look at the line, ball to the hole, walks around the other side, and lies down prone and looks back at the hole, and then the ball the other side. That's going to annoy the Americans like you can't believe.
yes.
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 So we need
as
Matt
much
there.
as Victor Hovland Dane pointing from 3 feet will probably annoy them as
Richard,
well.
you had a question.
I did. You are the guru. I use the word guru again,
did.
of the short
You
game.
did.
Just tell people who are listening, watching, whatever, how difficult it is and to take out onto the course what Matt Fitzpatrick does with his left hand below right for chipping.
Oh yeah, cack-handed
Rob, you
chipping.
wanna
Because
go
I
for that?
can't. I mean, I make a terrible
Before you
mess
go,
of
I'll
that.
tell you one thing. Yes. So with the cross-handing, there is a point where you're too far away. You can't cross-hand.
Yes, I'd love to know what the point is.
Now, where was Fitzy yesterday? I think he got in trouble.
In the
I think
rough.
he was short of 14. I think he was short of 14 because he drove in a bunker, short of 14, which is an unbelievable green. We talked about the greens.
And
there.
then he was
It's
also-
incredible.
was
It's
he in
incredible.
between then.
So he starts making swings with the regular grip because he's about 20, 30 short of the green, and he's got another 30 up the green. So he's 60 yards away, let's say.
Yeah.
And he's going with the normal one. A complete reset. Decided not to do that one. We'll go cross-handed from 60 yards.
Yeah.
Hit it like that.
Did it?
Hold it for a 4.
Yeah, he did that a few times. Yes, Richard. So he started doing that as a practice drill because obviously what you would do naturally, Rob would do naturally, is when you're chipping, you retain your left wrist angle nicely. You set your angles, you lean the shaft, and you retain that angle there. So when you go left below right, that helps as well. So you've immediately got a lock on that. And the other thing is that when he's actually doing that, he can... It's no good for bunker shots. Sorry, sure. I was interviewing you. Yeah. So I've done that twice now. I'm thinking, Richard, what-
Yeah.
So Robert's absolutely right. It can work from certain positions, but you see, if he gets a short-sided bunker shot where he needs a lot of speed and loft, he won't do that. No. He'll then go back to his normal grip. If he's in thick rough and he needs to get some height and speed and loft, he'll go back to the normal grip. So he's got it figured. So he's figured out where it works for him. And he played an absolute beauty at the par 5 where he chipped in, I can't remember which day it was, and he had to land it on the
Second,
sixpence left
Saturday.
below right,
Yeah.
and it was great. There's been a few guys copied him, but it's basically just about that feeling of connection. He just feels like he turns his arms and his chest, and it's already locked in here.
I just always
Which
think
you
he's
could do
gonna-
naturally, Richard,
Yeah.
without thinking about it. You did those things without thinking, you
but
see.
it takes a lot to, it's all right on the range, just trying it out. But when you've got a card in your hand.
Yeah, when you first
takes a
take
lot
it
of
out on the golf
bottles
course,
to go
you'll
out
be
and do that.
nervous. Yeah, that's the thing, when you first take it out. The
Yeah.
first few rounds, there'll be that kind of, it feels different. But now it's normal, and there's quite a few guys copying him.
Well, I remember seeing Vijay Singh do it, Peter Senior do it. A bunch of guys went cross-handed chipping because they were duffing chips, because they had the heebie-jeebies the normal way around. But that's not the story with Matt Fitzpatrick.
No, Matt is not. A right hand is different. Right hand's got that way. Christopher Right hand, we saw quite a lot at the Open Championship.
Yeah.
He's gone that way because he doesn't chip well and he's not comfortable around greens. But he hasn't mastered it quite the way that Fitzy has.
Paul
so
McGinley was
he's the best at it.
Paul McGinley was a very good hurling player, and that's how you grip a hurley.
Cross-handed
As well. So I wonder whether
some hurling players remain cross-handed when they play golf. The whole thing.
what the
very
real
true.
thing,
Yeah,
full swing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
I
trying to
played
do
with
it
a few.
full
I
swing.
played with a few
Paul
Irish
Williams.
hurley players
Yep.
hurling players that continue to play golf cross-handed.
And you'll know Paul Williams, my mate Willow from
Yeah.
Sheffield. He was an international hurler. And he started playing golf. And boy, he's a big chap and he's strong. And he's always gripped it left below.
Yeah.
right.
I'd break my wrists in two, I think, if I did that. Wyndham Clark also...
Such is the speed of the swing.
Yeah. Power and the
Wyndham,
grace.
Wyndham Clark
Lord,
also...
the flight on that.
Just give over you. Also in a tie for 4th. We don't need to relitigate the whole lockers at Oakmont thing, but I'm just going to bracket Wyndham Clark and Bryson in together. Bryson finished top 10 because they both had absolute stinkers on Thursday. 76 for Wyndham, 78 for Bryson. And then from Friday onwards, they'll be thinking, if only I got off to a decent start, it could have been so different.
Yeah, well, DeChambeau was amazing. I mean, he was, by his standards, he was appalling, wasn't he, on Thursday?
13-shot difference from Thursday to
Yeah, I mean,
Friday.
it was a massive difference.
He looked lost, didn't he, on the first day?
Totally.
He looked completely
lost.
We were
I think it would have been a...
We were calling him DeChambolic.
Oh, well.
Yes, we were.
Glad you didn't add an S to
Only
that.
you.
He just looked like he did not know what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then fair play to him. That comeback round on day 2 to make the cut was phenomenal. And he
Oh, it was,
continued
yeah. I guarantee.
He can play.
I guarantee he would have been looking at, if he hasn't got a private pilot and a private jet, he would have been looking at flights home. It's one of those things where you could almost take your suitcase to the course.
I was doing feature group coverage and I was watching that first round and I offered 2/3 into the round to pack his suitcase.
Yeah.
I said, I'll go and help him pack his suitcase. There was no way, the way he was playing, that he was going to make the cut because he was trying to do what Bryson does. He's trying to overpower the golf course.
Trying to bully the golf course.
You can't bully that golf course. You can't overpower it. It's a chess game. That's what Scheffler did. But somehow, over the neck, he just softened it slightly.
Yeah.
A little bit, he slightly different angles as well. Maybe he got the angles. He still hit a lot of
But
drives,
Thursday was the worst of the conditions, and it still wasn't terrible on Thursday.
No, it wasn't
The
terrible.
weekend was flat cam, beautiful scoring conditions.
Yeah.
So the question still remains about Bryson. If the wind is howling and conditions are difficult to play in, does he have a plan B, or is it all just, I'm going to hit it as hard as I can, I'm going to thrash at everything?
No, he hasn't.
And is he going to keep coming a cropper, especially at the Open Championship, especially playing links golf, if he just keeps trying to bully golf courses? Because it can't be done.
The thing is, you can't play Portrush with zero risk. It is impossible.
Yeah, that's true
You
as
are
well.
going to have to... Scottie Scheffler was hitting shots that were gliding past bunkers. If he didn't hit it correctly, they could have got in bunkers. You can't play bunker avoidance for the whole round. Otherwise, you're playing from too far back. And they had some sporty pin positions.
They did, very much so.
Let me tell you this week.
You had to cut corners.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many dog legs on the golf
Yeah.
course. There's more dog legs than any other
Yeah.
open venue. You have to take the tight line at some point. You can't possibly not cut some corners.
No, but I thought the difference for his last 3 rounds was purely and simply that his course management was better. His plan B was course management. He's bullying it and belting it the first day. And no chance.
Yeah.
And then he thought, right, I've got to respect this course now. I'll give it a bit of course management. You are still going to flirt with bunkers, but on those last 3 days, he didn't go in too many.
But for Bryson, if you're a smasher, a guy that hits the ball miles, it's easy to tone it back. It's easy to hit along.
I think he's a crusher
It's much
rather than
easier
a
to
smasher,
do that or
actually.
crusher. It's much easier to do that
Careful with
than
Robert,
than amp it up. You can always dial back. That's a lot easier, and he can do that.
Can I listen? When people talk, this is slightly going away from the subject, but do you think? Well, it's not in a way because Bryson
let us
DeChambeau
be the
gives you
judge.
that.
You carry on.
Be the judges
That's
of this.
it.
People say, he's only going to hit this 80%. Now,
That finger. Don't
I
like
know
that
it's
finger very
going
much.
everywhere. So here's the question: could you? I know I couldn't, as talented as I was.
Okay.
I knew I couldn't. I couldn't hit it an extra 20, 30 yards. I couldn't do that. People say, he's got another 20, 30 yards in him.
No.
I played at 100%, flat out. That was it. Over to you, chap.
There's not.
Well, when we first started with the equipment
Simon.
we had, yes,
It's true.
hickories. Yeah, I mean, when we first started with
The
the golf balls,
Flintstones Open, you
The gusty ball.
and the clubs that we had, you could on a wind, if you could shape the ball right to left or left to right, you could gain an extra 10 or
little bit.
15 by shaping it or moving it. Nowadays, that's irrelevant with the modern golf ball and the modern clubs. You don't need to. It's just.
But that wasn't quite the question.
It's
Box
totally
is saying, can you get another?
Did you
can you
store
get,
up an extra 20
Is there another?
yards in
Is
your
there
locker?
another 10% that you could? If I need another 20 or 30 yards,
You
it's
got it
on
in the
tap.
tank. Yeah.
And I would say
I didn't.
sometimes
boxing,
sometimes
none
you catch
of
one
us
super
were-
out the middle and it goes 20 further.
None of us
but
were
not on
built
tap.
like Bryson.
No, that's
Let's be
true.
honest. I mean,
No.
the guy bulked up to sort of almost bodybuilder proportions at one point, and in toning it down, now looks like a cage fighter. I mean, he is a proper athlete.
He is
He's
an
super
athlete.
strong. We're just not. We weren't built that way. I mean,
But you can look at.
Didn't have it because we weren't as athletically conscious. Well, certainly you weren't, but
Well,
we
no,
weren't.
you
we
never
weren't-
told
we
anyone.
No, it's wrong. Overdeveloped abs. They are overdeveloped.
He's a very nasty man, you know.
Yes, never saw a gym in his life, did he?
I did.
Or a salad.
It was a bloke.
Haotong
was a
Li,
bloke.
just
the man's
it's
name,
not all
Jim.
about brawn. Haotong
Jim
Lee's
Barnes.
got another 20 if he wants it.
Yes.
Haotong Lee's not built like Bryson DeChambeau. If he wants another 20, he's got that extra 20 swing. You see the whiplash thing?
Yeah.
If he wants it, he can call on
He
that.
was
Why
he
didn't
was
you hit
he
that
was
all the
regularly
time,
at
though?
190, 191 on the top tracer numbers. Watching him, he was at 190, but we know he can get over 200. We know Bryson can stand there and he can get over 200. So there is that's where you get the extra.
Jake Knapp can go over 200 if he wants to.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I would feel very disappointed not playing at my 100%. I really would. You'd think, well, I'm leaving something out there.
Well, no, but
So you
with,
never
with,
hit
with
soft
the
shots,
with
then?
the extra hard swing comes the risk that you're going to hit it
Possibly go
wider.
offline.
So you don't want
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
wide. It's when you think, right, well, actually, the risk is worth just leaping off my toes here. to
Okay,
hit
so
one.
you're saying they only do that with the driver, so they're hitting an 8-iron and they wouldn't do it. They don't have it for an
It won't be
8-iron.
that-
Actually,
it won't-
what you
won't be
did
that
work. You
speed.
took 10 pounds off Seve. It works. What you did work.
Yes, it is.
You won the 5th major, the Italian Open.
Yeah.
That's right.
Moving on to a couple of home hopes for going into the week. Two men who knocked on the door at the most recent major before this, the US Open at Oakmont, Tyrrell Hatton and Bob McIntyre. Two good, solid weeks for both of them. Two men who are going to be on that Ryder Cup team. And Bob, Bob will be disappointed because that's Bob, but another great week from Bob.
Yeah, no, I did that. I was doing, in the afternoon on the Saturday and Sunday, I was doing marquee games. So I didn't get to see all the other action, unfortunately, what was going on. But McIntyre was my game yesterday, playing with Rasmus. And he was another one of these players that had a brilliant back nine. He was poodling along. Nothing really was happening. Bang, 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 bang. I think it was 4 birdies on the back nine, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And that turned it. That
Drove
really
the 17th green, which was fantastic.
Well, actually, if he drove, I said to the chap, I was with Damon Hack, I said, actually, if he'd hold that and that had gone in, I said, he'd come straight up to a tie for second.
Yeah.
Which you're asking a bit much there. But he actually hit a good putt on that 17th.
Yeah, he
Very
did.
good putt, didn't hold it. But he was impressive. He was fist pumping all the time. And
It's great, Bob.
another great top 10 finish. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Gets better and better, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he really does.
They'll be there. Tyrrell Hatton and Bob McIntyre in New York.
Yeah, they will.
Amongst the chaos and the mayhem.
Yeah.
They will be there, and they will be integral parts of our
And
European side.
Rob, he won't be intimidated. McIntyre, he's got a grit about him.
He
He's
really
got that-
does.
He's got that street fighter mentality, and he'll get as good as he gets.
If I was
I
Bob-
wouldn't be taunting him too much because he's got a little bit of fire inside him.
If I was
and
Bob,
I like that.
I would take my 14 clubs and my shinty stick and put that in the bag in case things get really rough on Long Island. That's what I would do. McIntyre won't care.
No.
Tough as old boots.
Yeah,
He
that's
really
right.
is.
That's-
He's such a gritty player, isn't he?
Yeah.
very much so.
Speaking of, we're just going to finish on another player who will definitely be on that Ryder Cup team, Shane Lowry, who I think Shane being Shane will be disappointed that he didn't give it a bit more of a fight this week. Paired with Scottie Scheffler, obviously, for the first 2 rounds. His momentum was literally stalled by what happened on the 12th hole on Friday.
Well,
And I think everybody feels particularly strongly about this.
Very.
I think Shane took it very graciously when he spoke to the media after his round on Friday, but will have been seething inside.
Don't
He
have a
would.
choice, though, do you? That's the problem. When you're faced with that situation in front of the media glare, you don't have a choice but to accept it that way, even though maybe inside he felt a little bit hard done by. And boy, was he right to feel hard done by. I didn't speak to anybody in the entire TV compound amongst the media. I didn't speak to anybody that didn't think, hang on a minute, that's just too harsh. I didn't
think you could be done on TV. I thought you had to see it by the naked eye.
First of all, he stepped away, and it was the practice swing, and it was a
Twig.
It was a 2-pronged ruling, wasn't it? It was the fact that he made a swish and the ball moved, but the camera had zoomed in. It's supposed to be with the naked eye, and the RNA, I think, had the opportunity here, Boxy, to do the right thing and to say, look, at the precedent that have been set on the PGA Tour, there'd been a 2-shot penalty rescinded over there because they found out it had been done with a zoomed-in camera. So they had the opportunity to do the right thing. At 200, he was 200 at the time, wasn't he? Went back to level. At 200, it is unlikely he's going to win.
But it takes the wind out of sails that massively.
Absolutely, as you
he
say.
actually played
just
beautifully up to that point.
Totally knocks your momentum. And the other thing is, it just didn't feel right. And I think the R&A going forward, the last I'll say on it is they had the opportunity to do the right thing and give the 2 shots back and say, yeah, we realise this and this. Okay, they've stuck rigidly to the rules. That's fine, but it's not fair. And we need fairness in the rules of golf. We need common sense in the rules of golf. I think they should go away now and look at that rule and find a reinterpretation for it that allows for that not to happen. Yeah, I'm going to say, it happened to me a long time ago at the Open Championship, which is history now, but they changed the rule after. Yeah. And I'm happy they changed the rule after. Yeah. And I would be really happy if the R&A went back and looked at this, sat down with the rules committee, say, right, how can we rewrite this so that doesn't happen? A ball moving 5 millimeters or the logo moving.
What are we trying to do? That's what you got to ask. What is the spirit of the game? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
And you know, with ball suspended in rough. How many times did that happen during the week?
Yeah. Well,
it's just the camera never saw it.
Just because he was on that game, that would happen.
He never saw it. He didn't know. He had no chance to replace. It would have been impossible to replace it. It wouldn't have settled one dimple.
Another great point. Like Rob says, another great point.
So even if he had spotted it, he just couldn't have replaced it.
It moved 2 dimples.
Whatever. There was a smidge, and so he couldn't replace it exactly where it was because it's kind of it's not on the ground. Yeah. It's suspended in rough. It would have been impossible.
Also,
so he gets done for not seeing it, and then how could he replace it if he never saw it?
Exactly. And you're quite right. That I said that in commentary that will happen many times every day around a golf course when someone's out there having a practice swing looks and it's moved. You won't see it.
And here's the thing:
no, he's never seen it.
It just didn't feel right.
Like everything in this modern age. The words you used, Rory, there were common sense. Like everything in this modern day, golf is fighting for eyeballs, golf is fighting for column inches. And if you're a young person thinking of taking up golf, you will look at that and think, well, hang on, 2-shot penalty for that. He's not tried to gain any advantage. Mark Rowe's not trying to gain any advantage by signing Jesper Parnevik's golf card.
And whether he was trying to or not, there was no advantage to
the punishment does not fit the crime, right? No. It just seems really daft.
Needs to be looked at, and I bet it will be.
Yeah, with an opportunity missed for me. That's what I would say by the Royal Nature. Just to do something that was correct. Everybody felt it would have been correct. And then go away and still look at it and reword it and make sure that doesn't happen.
The thing is, if you're the R&A and there are rules and something comes up, they have no choice but to exact the rule as it's written. So that's what needs to be looked at. You need to amend the rule so that doesn't become a 2-shot penalty. That's what you'll have to find some way to make it not that severe. It's super severe.
So what
we're not trying to be severe. We're trying to be fair.
What we're saying is correct in the absolute pure interpretation.
I don't think
or negotiable on the naked eye thing.
I don't think they had an irregular room, but they are bound by the rules.
And there's not a single person.
Let's make the rule that doesn't look as bad as it did.
Yeah, you're right. I was spot on. It did take the wind out of his sails. He gave it a right old go yesterday, Shane. It was great fun to watch. The smile was back in the face. And
was it 67 final round in the end?
67 or 66,
was
it?
Yeah.
66, I think.
Do you know if
hold out from 183 yards at the 4th. Nearly chipped in for a birdie at the 18th as well.
If McIlroy's my favourite player to watch, Shane Lowry's my second favourite player to watch.
You are endearing yourself to the Irish fans
I'm
here,
half Irish. Shane Lowry is my second favourite player to watch for a couple of reasons. It's that he just brings me back.
He just enjoys the game. He looks like he enjoys it.
Before we even get to that, just the motion, just that Irish free swinging motion that we saw with players back in the day.
It's almost like he hasn't ever had a lesson.
It's old fashioned.
It's just got timing and
rhythm.
It's like watching Fred Astaire dance, watching him swing. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that just loose, free touch that he has around the greens, and of course his character. I love the character. I love it when he's given out, and we might have to turn the microphones down a little bit. Who cares?
Where's his heart?
Let Shane fly. Let Shane fly.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, top week, all in all. Mark's at a 10 for Royal Portrush.
10.
For the course itself, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I say 10 out of 10 for everybody. I'd say also for the organisation. I've never been to an Open Championship where I've got so easily to where I want to go every single time. So top marks for the Royal Nation for the job they've done, and Portrush, it is an absolute joy.
It was a final day which didn't have much juice or drama or the lead changing hands, but we are perhaps witnessing one of the all-time greats adding major number 4 to what could be.
Who knows?
By the way, sorry, something we didn't say right at the start.
Massive ceiling.
Did you see this? 1,197 days between Tiger's first major and his fourth major.
That.
And Scottie did it exactly the same number of days.
How weird is that?
Crazy.
How weird is
Really?
that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you want the champion golfer of the year to be a gentleman golfer as well.
Yeah.
And I think Scottie has that in abundance. I think everything about him is very, very classy.
Absolutely spot on. And roll on Royal Birkdale next year. Another gem.
When we sit here on the day after the week before, it seems a long time to get to Birkdale next year, but we will get there.
We will.
And that's going to be tremendous. I love Birkdale as well.
It will. So if we all give this a
Wasn't
10...
Birkdale where it all happened?
That's where I
Richard?
broke my leg. If anybody has 14 hours, I shall sit down and have a chat with them.
I can see Sky doing a piece on that. Let's reenact that. Richard, go over like your left shin's just collapsed.
It was
No, that
always
was-
going to happen.
Has he told you the story?
Yeah, several times.
With Monty and the card and the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I always say it's the amazing extremes you'll go to not to play with Colin McDowell. Sorry, Monty, I know you know I say that all the time.
Richard's writhing on the floor in absolute agony. And Monty goes, "Have you got my card, Richard?" And Richard went, "Oh, good luck, Monty."
That's it.
I can picture
Bless
the
him.
scene.
Broken leg.
Broken leg.
Yeah, Luke.
But I was going to say, if we give it 10 out of 10, what do you give this podcast?
I mean, with this one in particular,
Yes.
with you three on it, clearly it's a 10.
Beautiful. That's 4
So it's,
tens.
it's
Yeah.
a week of tens.
Full house.
Full house of 10s.
Yeah.
Yes, Royal Birkdale will be another treat next year. We've got another 12 months for that. And a little event in New York to look forward to.
Yeah, well,
in
that's just.
September as well, which is
We're
the
now
next big
building
thing
up
on the horizon.
mentally. We're just building up to September.
Listen, thank you so much for your time, gents. It is a long, tiring, exhausting week, so appreciate you chatting to us this Monday morning as well. It has been a wonderful 153rd Open. Royal Portrush has put on a great show. The champion golfer of the year has earned that claret jug, and hopefully he'll enjoy it for a few more than 5 minutes. I'm sure he will. Thank you for joining us today as well. If you've liked what you've seen or heard today, please do give us a like and a review on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your pods. And do join us again next week.